Okie dokes, welcome to our little lure cave. I want to go through a lure with you today, which is, first of all, our bestseller. Second of all, it's got a big place in my heart because when we introduced this lure about 2 years ago now, I really started catching some specimen perch on it, and yeah, I really like it. So what I have planned for today is, which lure is it? Obviously, Finesse Filet Craw from LMAB. They come in 3 sizes, so I'll run you through the 3 different sizes, some hook pairings, some jighead pairings, and yeah, let's start off. Let me show you the sizes first. This is the 4 centimeter version. Very popular at the moment with the UL anglers, LRFs as well. My personal favorite is the 7 centimeter. I fish slightly bigger for perch usually, which is this one. So it comes in the same colors, 7 centimeters, and then there is the 10 centimeters as well, which I use sometimes, not very often, but I know quite a few people catch well on it in places where the fish really, or the big fish really prefer big crayfish, and they're really kind of tuned in onto these bigger baits. I have caught quite a few saltwater species on them as well. I've caught bass, gurnard, I think it's actually it, on the 10 centimeter as well, and some pike, obviously. Yeah, so let's get going. On the 4 centimeter one, we have got a few arrays of hooks / jigheads here. So let's start off with weedless hooks. This is the first one I'm going to show you is the Gerza 310 LE for large eye. This hook has got quite a wide gape, and it's got a large eye. So that's the hook here. Tiny, obviously, because we are going to start with a 4 centimeter version. This is the number 4, which sits quite well on it. The Worm 310s, they've got they're finesse hooks, so from size 2 downwards, so the 2, 4 and 6, they're very thin gog, so be careful, fish them with fine tackle. So solid tips ideally, or very light rods. They will bend open if you fish this hook on a stiff rod and you catch or you hook a big fish. That's not what they're made for. They are made for finesse fishing, soft tips, thin lines, and a nice and loose drag. But because they're so thin, they're ultra light, and they really lift, or they get lifted very easily by the fish when they suck in the bait. So let's go with the 4 centimeter finesse fillet in Sunrise I've got ready here. So that will go in like that. We all know how to rig weedlessly. Come out that side, and that is a perfect fit. I think we could even go a tiny bit further so it sits a bit more. Boop, there we go. Yeah, so here we go, have a look at that. Are we focusing? Yes, we are. So that fits really well on there. You can see the large eye on top as well, I hope, which is obviously there to fish it either, well, Cheb head, very obviously, first and foremost, but then also the Jika rig, Tokyo rigs, so you can build those rigs really well with those large eye hooks. Okay, so let's put that back here. Second one is the joint hook from Gerza. This is the number 10 in this case. Their sizes are all over the place like they usually are. So yeah, size 4 of the worm 310 is the same size or similar size to the size 10 of the joint hook. Don't ask me why. I have stopped questioning these hook size debacles. Boop. So the joint hook has got a different offset sort of shape. So what you can see on this one is it's got a much less wide gape, which is something that I like when I really crawl the bait across the bottom, because the bait stays straight on the bottom, if that makes sense. If you've got a very wide gape on the bottom of the bait, your bait will fall to the left, fall to the right, fall to the left, fall to the right. It might just be me, but doesn't look too natural. So if you really crawl the bait, the crayfish over the bottom, I like something with a slightly less wide gape, and then it just stays nice and natural on the floor like that. Okay, let's go over to jig heads. We do have, I didn't actually get it ready now, we do have of course the Sport MH14 from Gerza as well. I will put them into the description as well. They are just standard long shank hooks, not weedless. I will link below which size fits on the 4 centimeter Finesse Filet Craw. Let's go over to jig heads. Let's do jig heads. So weedless jig heads. SV38 from Decoy. Absolutely brilliant. So those are the smaller finesse ones. You get the the VJ36 in the bigger, for the bigger sizes, with slightly thicker, well, much thicker wire. So this one is a offset, weedless and offset jig head in the size, hook size 4. The hook size 6, they come even one smaller for the real LRFs in 6. That one is a little bit too small for even for the 4 centimeter craw. So here we go. This is our little. So yeah, have a look at this. This is a 2.5 gram SV38 on a size 4 hook, kind of medium wide gape as you can see here, and ultra sharp, slightly pointed head, so you can dart it as well as fishing it on the bottom. Very nice, one of my most favorite jig heads out there. I think most people know that because they are usually in my pictures when I catch fish. Or often they are. What is the next one? Next one is Major Craft Jigpara jig heads. So we've got the small Jigpara jig heads. They come in all sorts of different shapes. They all have the same hook size. This one is the darting one now. There is the Aji one. There is the rock style one. So this one is the darting, then we've got the Aji, the swim, not the rock. The rock is a different one. So they have this little point of glue on there, which you should see there, little white bit, which keeps soft baits in place. So that is very useful. Here we go. They are incredibly sharp. They are some of the sharpest hooks I've ever seen. Very thin, very thin wire, and very sturdy at the same time as well. So yeah, this looks like that. So this is for your ultralight fishing when you don't have many snags and you just need a straight jig head, in this case the darting jig head, and want to improve hookup rates by not going weedless, which is fair enough. There we go. Last hook on the 4cm one is the mono tungsten skirted spin jig from Kitech. So this is a little special, lovely little jig head. Have a look at this one, absolutely fantastic. Tungsten, this one is 1.8 gram. We've got 2.6 in as well, same hook size I think, so that'll fit as well. It's got one singular weed guard there, which is absolutely no problem for any of our perch to push down, even small perch. And this one is absolutely delicious with especially this color combination. I like this one. Is called, is it Silver Tiger? I think with the Sunrise Finesse Filet Craw. Oh, I can't wait to get back out there. I haven't been perch fishing for ages. Push it over the little bait holder and have a look at this. How sexy is this? Ah, yes, that's what we want. So that is to top off the little finesse fillet craw on 4cm. Yeah. Obviously we've got little drop shot hooks as well, which work with it if you like to fish it on the drop shot. The MH14 I already mentioned, which is just a straight, it's got a large eye as well, so it's just a straight hook to go onto your cheb head, for example. I don't think I mentioned, I'm sure you guys know, these come, the Worm 310s, they come as normal eye as well. It's not LE. If you want to fish them on like a Texas or Carolina rig and you're absolutely perfectionist and you don't want that large eye to tie straight to the leader, just to make it a little bit more aqua dynamic. So that is 4cm done, and I will just make a little bit of space here. Boop, 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 boop. This might all just go straight into my bag, and we will continue with my absolute favorite, which is the 7cm one. This one is the real craw color, so you get a green back and then you get a nice contrast. You get a yellow bottom, yellow belly. So I've got 3 different offset hooks. Worm 310 again, I'm showing you the LE. They come as normal eyes as well. Then this 777 LE, which is even wider gape, and then 2 different jig heads, and yeah, that should do it. Again, there will be a size of the Sport MH14 which will fit this as well, and of course drop shot hooks as well. So let's go with the 10, which is my preferred size. So I've got 3 sizes or 2 sizes of this actually, which would fit quite well, kind of depending on preference. I like a hook slightly on the larger side, not too much, but this is perfect, I think. and I know this hooks the fish very well. This is probably the combination I have caught most of my big perch with in the last 2 years. This exact hook pattern with this exact lure, and you know what, most likely this color pattern as well. Here we go, up 7 centimeter finesse fillet craw, wide gape on the worm 310 LE. Big eye on there for your cheb wire or for your split ring on your jigger rigs, etc. And yeah, so also the number 1 will work as well. So that's for people who prefer to fish slightly smaller hooks. Same model, both come as normal height as well for your Carolina and Texas rigs. Delicious. Yes. Next one, 777 777 LE. Have a look at this gape. That is an absolutely humongous gape. Widest gape hook I know. There we go. I hope you can see it. There we go, in front of my face. So that one is, let me use a different color for this one. We have the sunrise, which is a very natural color for clear water, but then always the sunrise somewhere depending on the bait. It has some sort of fluo orange UV accents. This one has a nice strip down the belly, and yeah. So the main thing with this hook is obviously the wide gape, but also something I'm sure you can see it. The hook, so the gape is ultra wide, so you've got lots and lots and lots of space for the fish to nail your bait and get hooked. While you're fishing, the hook sits out a tiny bit, but at the same time, the very point of the hook is bent inwards, just a tiny bit. So while being exposed a little bit, increasing your hookup rates, when they're very, very careful, the hook point sits in slightly towards the bait, which makes it either easier if you want to hide it, what you could do over here, or just if you don't hide it, sit away from the bait a tiny bit, but still be nice and weedless, and don't be aggressive towards any of the obstacles, literally looking for the branches to get buried into. Yeah, so these two, getting my my perch box ready here for the season while I talk to you guys. Jighead wise, what have we got? We have got, so the VJ36, so we've talked about it before. Again, they come in different sizes and different weights. The 1.0 hook size is the one you want for the 7 centimeter Finesse Filet Craw. They, funnily enough, because we were just talking about it, have a very similar, I hope you can see it, yeah, very similar hook to the 777 LE from Gerza. So slightly inwards bent and a very wide gape. I did read somewhere, someone said that the slightly inwards bend acts a little bit like a circle hook. If you read that as well, please ignore that, because that is obviously not the case. Please strike with this hook and don't just tighten the line like with a circle hook. This is very obviously just so the hook sits very, very nice and flush and very weedless with your bait, as you can see there. Pointed head again, like with the SV38, and on top of that you've got a flat bottom of the jig head, so it very nicely sits like this on the bottom, and we all know that is what the perch like. So it won't like roll around when you drop on the bottom. It'll jump, doop doop, and then sit like that, doop doop, sit like that, doop doop, sit like that, and that's exactly what we want. Claws going crazy, and then we want a nice thump. Yeah, lots of space there for the fish to get nailed. As you can see, I mean, the Finesse Filet Craw is such a slim bait anyway. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect for weedless rigging, for offset rigging. There's almost no reason to not do it, because the hookup rate is just so good with these ones. And then we've got, talking about a slim bait, actually we've got a weedless hook, which is the nail bomb from Decoy again, only the best. So as you can see here, this is a very slim gape, actually, or very low gape, which excuse me, definitely doesn't work with all baits, but Finesse Filet Craw is made for this, absolutely made for this one. So they come in different weights again. You want the number 1 size, boop, poke it in, come back out. Oop, that wasn't good, was it? Can actually come out a little bit further here. It's got quite a long neck, I call it, the part before the first bend of the offset hook, which kind of determines at what point you come out of the bait. So that was quite long on this one. That means you can go out quite a lot, which is nice, because it gives you more stability really, and it keeps the bait from ripping fast. And out, and here we go. So have a look, very nice and slim presentation on this one. More than enough space for the Finesse Filet Craw to slide down, even though it's a very slim gape. And remember when I said when I crawl my bait along the bottom, I prefer if there's not the huge gape there. So that is same here. Fish it like that, or if you're fishing right into cover, give it a little dip, hide it, and you're safe, but the perch won't be. Or the chub, or the zander, or the pike. And that is it on the 7cm Finesse Filet Craw. My favorite craw, one of my favorites. It's always so hard to say. My most successful craw, let's say. By the way, there's been a drop of new colors of these craws this year. Actually, just a few weeks back. There's this chartreuse and Juneback, which is called Purple Rave. There is, actually this one exists a bit longer, I think, the Motor Oil Blue, which Enrico Di Ventura designed, which is a nice motor oil with lots and lots of blue flakes in there. What else did they bring out? I think, oh, the Galaxy. And you know what? Oh, here it is. The Galaxy I've got as well. So that is a blue flakes as well, with a more natural kind of, so that is an absolute, as you can see, an absolute clear water killer. Clear water and sun, that's what I would go with. And yeah, so 7 centimeter done. Boop, boop, boop. 10 centimeter monster craw. Here we go. I already showed it to you. Let me show it to you properly. Very obvious big fish bait here. At the same time, still a very slim bait, very easily foldable for any fish, any perch. I mean, we all know how greedy perch are, and often we go, and fair enough, if the fish feed on tiny little crayfish, definitely fish this little fella, 100%. But we also all know, we all know as well that this is absolutely not a problem for any perch over 30 centimeters. 30 centimeters, I mean, they'll absolutely inhale this. Soft, slim, and yeah, just a good snack. And when do we fish big lures? That's the rule. Rules are there to be broken, I know. But when do fish move less, and when do they only move for a bigger meal because they spend less energy and getting more protein in the winter? Correct. So this is a winter bait. Fish it in the summer, fish it in autumn, fish it in spring. I fish this in winter and I've had some success. We are now back to the decoy, the VJ36. We again have lots of weights, from 2.5 grams on this one up to 14 grams, I think. And for this bait, you want the 2 O's. So you're gonna 2 O's. This one has a slightly shorter neck. Boop. Not that short, a bit longer than that. I always try to avoid that because if you, I like when it sits really nice and flush to the jig head. So that is something that I really like. Come out nice and centered. Here we go, perfect. And this is an absolute big fish killer right here for you. I know as well, this has already brought quite a few good zander. So big perch, big chub, zander, pike. That's what we want to do with this bait. If you want to fish it on a chub head or whatever else, worm 310, in this case LE again, as I said, comes in normal as well. Normal eye. Boop. Get that in there. And then you are ready for some serious deck hopping with a big bait for some big fish. Perfect. I hope you enjoyed this. The hook sizes, hook pairings, jig head pairings, they are available on the website. So underneath every lure, you'll have some of the suiting or fitting hooks and jig heads. Please excuse me if I don't put all of them on there, because as we get new stock in and new products in, sometimes I don't add them to all the lures, if that makes sense. If there's any questions, drop a comment below. Yeah, that's it. Tight lines, and I hope you all have a great predator season. Temperatures are getting a bit colder now. Water temperatures are going to follow very soon, and the predators are going to go eat. Tight lines, and see you soon.